My now partner and I were living in our 3-bedroom house with our 2 housemates. One of our housemates had a cat named Ruby. She was a beautiful, sweet and loving cat that the whole household loved and adored. One day, Ruby had wandered off. She would walk down our driveway and wander up and down our street. This was normal for her, as she would do this twice a day. But this particular day, though, she was gone longer than usual, and we weren't 100% sure where she was, but we hoped that she would return home soon. Now, my partner and one of our housemates was at work, as it was a weekday. My other housemate would be at home with me. We were both sitting out in the backyard just chilling when we see a cat walking towards us, but it wasn't Ruby, it was another cat. Ruby was a black short-haired cat, whereas this cat had a squished up face. It was a black exotic short-haired cat. It was very friendly, and we'd never seen it before. I wonder where it came from. The cat had a tag. His name was Pushkin. So he obviously was on the wander and decided to check out our backyard. We were sitting there with the cat, and then we see Ruby emerge from around the front of the house, walking towards us. That's when Pushkin decided to start playing with Ruby, like as if they knew each other. Maybe Ruby brought Pushkin home for a visit. Who knows? But then Pushkin would leave and head home soon after. My housemate would follow him and watch to see where he had come from. Turns out, he lived 2 houses down from us, a 2-storied house on the corner. We figured that that's where Ruby would go and visit a lot when she would leave the house. For the next few weeks, Pushkin would pop in for a visit most days, and Ruby would do the same with the other house also. Although there was another cat in our street that was a bit of a bully. He was a ginger cat from across the street. Him and Ruby would get into fights down our driveway over night time, so we would have Ruby inside with us at night. One day, I was outside hanging some washing out when I heard someone yelling. It wasn't any normal kind of yelling either. This voice was low-pitched, definitely a male's voice, and it boomed out across the neighbourhood, and the words being yelled sounded pretty disturbing. It sounded like his voice was abusing someone or taking his anger out on something. It was quite scary. I asked my housemate if he heard it. He listened carefully, and then he heard it. Where was the yelling coming from? What was he getting angry about? And also, why was he being so vicious? The next day, it was still going on. You could just make out what the guy was yelling out. It was a lot of different kind of cursing and threats, like, "I'm going to get you. Come here now. You don't know who you're messing with," and so on. We still didn't know if he was yelling at someone, something, or just himself. We all had been listening to where the yelling was coming from, and we worked out that it was coming from the 2-storied house on the corner, where Pushkin the cat lives. Maybe he's scared of his owner. Maybe he comes over to our house to get away. The thing was, we never heard the man yelling at night. It was only ever during the day, so at this stage, we didn't really see him as a threat, yet. One evening, we all decided to go for a walk around the block, as it was a mild kind of evening after a hot summer's day, perfect for an evening stroll. We happened to walk past the 2-storied house on the corner, and a lady was standing out the front near her mailbox. We said hello to her and introduced ourselves, and then we got talking. We told her about Pushkin and how he was a lovely cat and he would come to visit. Apparently, he had been getting out when he wasn't supposed to. That progressed on to talking about the man yelling. The lady explained to us that the man is actually her brother, and he lives downstairs and out the back of the house. He has a psychotic condition, and we were urged just to ignore his outbursts. It was kind of hard to do that though, as the guy sounded pretty scary. After a 10-minute chat, we all said goodbye and kept walking. That same night, after we all returned from our walk, we were just inside just chilling in the lounge room when we hear the man from the house up the street yelling again. This time though, it was a lot louder and a lot closer. I looked outside the bedroom window to see a figure of a big-looking guy standing in our driveway. He wasn't moving. He was just standing there, yelling and waving his arms around, waiting for someone to come outside. My partner then opens the door and said he's going to call the police if he didn't leave the premises. The man stood there cursing and yelling some more, when we then hear a female voice calling out to the man to come back home. It was the man's sister, the lady we spoke to earlier. "I'm so sorry about this. Come on, Brian, stop scaring these nice people." They both walked out of the driveway while the man was still growling about something. That really scared the hell out of us. I could tell the guy was a big guy too, from hearing the tone of his voice and seeing his figure in the driveway. After that encounter, we never seen or heard the man again. Maybe he moved out, or maybe he moved to a more suitable place for his mental condition. And also, unfortunately, we stopped getting visits from Pushkin. He obviously wasn't scared anymore and was happy to be an inside cat.